And boom, we're live.
We're on.
Castillo, Dominick, whatever your middle name is. Castillo, how you doing, bud?
Yes, sir. I'm back. Feeling good.
Back, feeling strong?
Yes, sir.
Feeling full?
Oh, yeah, very. After that meal.
I know. Fantastic meal on a beautiful Sunday in League City, Texas, sitting in the backyard. Another podcast on location. Not really location, it's my house, but whatever.
Yeah, we can say that.
Not in the dining room.
What would you call an all carnivore and whiskey diet? Like
a gentleman's diet?
Hey, I like that.
A gentleman's diet? Yeah, I like it. So, yeah, man, we just got done with some grass-fed Nolan Ryan ribeye steaks. Some bone marrow, which I've never cooked on the grill before or cooked at all, period, which turned out really good. I was happy with that. Some flank-style short ribs and some sausage. Mm-hmm. Not a bad little Sunday meal.
You got to include the workout.
Yes.
We earned it. It was an earned meal.
Yes, we worked out this morning. We got about 45 minutes in, did a little of the hurricane work, and killed me. And so, then went to Kroger's, loaded up, and now here we are. Whiskey glass deep, belly full of...
Feeling good.
Belly full of beef. I like it.
Feeling good.
So what's been up, man? Anything new since we talked last?
Just still working. Actually, business has picked up pretty big, but it does that around this time. It's very seasonal.
I thought it was because of the Lone Star podcast.
Yeah, actually, that's had me skyrocket. Like, people know when I walk down the street who I am now, which is it's exciting.
Exactly.
Sign my first couple autographs.
About, man. I just want to support the people I love.
Yeah, you're getting us popular out there. But no, it's a very seasonal field I'm in. So like, this time of year, like everyone's got to get the summer bod. They wait until the last minute, a lot of them, but no, it's good to have them, come in and get that work in. Yeah,
it's good, man. It's good. The gym looks full, looks busy.
Yeah.
Every day I go in there, it's
more and more fighters getting on the program, so that's good. That's good too.
It's a big event coming up next month.
Yeah, you're talking about the press forward sparring night or sparring day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's pretty exciting. So, if y'all haven't seen on the social medias. We've got a day of amateur fights at the Press Forward MMA gym, and so anywhere from 7 years old and up, I think is the age group, and women, men, whatever the case. And just if you're interested, shoot Dom or Cheeks a message on Facebook or a text, or show up to the gym or whatever and let them know. We've done a couple of these smokers before at other locations, but this is gonna be the first one
we're hosting.
That our gym is hosting, so pretty exciting stuff, man. It's
and I forget, you've competed in one, right?
Yeah,
I always forget that one. You were at Kings, or were you at
Kings? Yeah,
V12. You're at Kings. Okay,
we competed at Kings. Went 2 rounds with a guy. He called it quits in the middle of the second round or whatever. I caught him with a decent left hook, and that was all he wanted. So
I told you, you got that power, man.
But we're trying.
So it's one of those things where it's like there's no winner or loser, but we know who won. Like, we'll just say that. Like,
no winner or loser.
It's all for fun, but we know that if there was a winner or loser,
well, it's really good. It's really good thing to test you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
To see where you're at. Exactly. You're testing yourself against other people, and you're doing some live work.
Yeah.
For the most part, when you're sparring in the gym with your teammates, you're pushing each other, but it's not 100%.
Yeah.
Right? You're 100% effort, but you're not throwing everything that you have.
You keep in mind that they're your teammates, and you're not trying to blast them the whole time.
If they get into trouble, you allow them to recover a little bit and work out of it.
Yeah,
right?
Based on their skill level.
Exactly.
Like, if I'm going with Cheeks, even if I got him in a bad spot, I don't get Cheeks there very much, so I'm gonna work him if I can. But it doesn't happen too often. But like, if you're going with guys that are more like newer to the sport, or even learning. Learning. That's a good way to put it. Then you're gonna kind of be a little bit nicer, and also you're also concerned about like certain moves. If you haven't pulled them off, it's like, oh, you don't want to hurt your teammate if you do this wrong or whatever. But you kind of like cut loose a little bit more in competition when it's not your teammate, it's other teams.
Exactly.
And it's a good way to test yourself. I always compare it to like a football like scrimmage.
Yeah.
Where it's like before the season, or like a preseason game. You're trying to test to see where you're at. and where your team's at, and this is same thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool event, and they're called smokers, and I always like the fact that do you know why they're called smokers?
I think I know why, but I want to see what
here's what I know. They're called smokers because they used to have events where it was boxing gyms, right? Put these on to begin with, and they would get people off the street to come in that were interested in boxing, or if somebody had a beef or whatever, they'd bring them in and be like, all right, come in and fight. Well, these are smokers off the street, quote unquote smokers, right?
Yep.
And they would go in there and get gassed out in 3 minutes and get their ass beat.
Yeah.
But that's my interpretation.
No, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's where the name came from, because it is weird to say like, oh, it's a smoker, and it's like, okay, I don't know what you mean by that. Like if somebody doesn't know the term.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just people that aren't necessarily like fighters, but like want to try their hand in it, and that was like a while back, and like they're trying to get better and better and better. But yeah, that's where the term came in. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. There was some controversy about it. There's been some controversy about smokers and this and that over the years, that they bring in people and set them and match them up against, and they just get completely tuned up and
and that can happen. I've only seen firsthand like one example of that. Other than that, it's actually, I would say, the other way, where it's they try to make it a really fun family event too,
yes.
where it's and it's done a lot like amateur fights too, to where if somebody's taken too much punishment, they're gonna call it. They're not gonna let it continue. We're all there to just get better.
Yeah.
And if somebody's just taking a whooping, they're not going to let that happen for too much long.
And that's been my experience with them around this area, so that's good. But yeah, I've just seen, and you see some videos and stuff too, especially back in the, like, before MMA, the early days of karate versus Muay Thai versus this versus, and they'd bring people in other gyms. There's some videos I've seen where dudes look like they're beaten half to death.
Yeah.
Just bad.
Yeah.
And they drag them out and throw them in the back alley and move on. But
that's how the sport, when you talk about UFC, when it first started and was popularizing mixed martial arts, they were pushing that like blood sport type thing, where it's just like, oh, no rules, and even though there's a couple rules, but we're going to promote it as there's no rules, and there's all this violence and gore, and it's like, hey, easy, y'all. That's not how we're going to get the mainstream stuff, man. But yeah.
Wild days. Them guys get each other to press one and punch them in the nuts, and eye gouging. What was it? Mark Coleman, I think, put his chin in somebody's eye socket and squeezed it.
So it's come a long way since that.
Yeah, whoa. Crazy,
We've
man.
evolved quite a bit.
So last time you were on here, I did you a disservice, and I got to make up for it. We didn't talk about Texas.
Oh, yeah.
You got a little upset with me, rightfully so.
Well, it's the Lone Star podcast,
I know. I got a little wrapped
the theme
up
of it.
In the fitness side of things, whatever, and I forgot who I was for a minute. So you've been around the great state, man. You've been a traveling gypsy a little bit, right? So,
yeah, somewhat. Especially in Texas, I would say, like, I've gone different places in Texas more than, like, just taking vacations anywhere else. Yeah.
So where's your spots, man? Where's your favorite spots to hit up?
I did mention this last time, but I love San Antonio.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because it's the half Mexican in me or what, but I love the culture, and the setting there is awesome. Probably my favorite place where I went on a vacation, and I've been to like Costa Rica. I've been to like some tropical places like Costa Rica and like Belize, and those are all awesome. But man, going out there to West Texas, like Marfa and everything, and getting to do rafting. Yeah. What's cool is how much you can do in one spot.
Yes.
Where we went out towards Marfa, and I can't remember like the ranch we stayed on, but we stayed like on this big, huge ranch area, and in the one trip, we got to do whitewater rafting. We got to do 4-wheelers through the mountains, horseback riding, where they really, even on the horseback riding, they got to like let us open them up a little bit because it's just this wide open area, hiking, and there was just so much out there. But places like that where you wouldn't think to go because you're just like, oh, well, isn't that just the desert? It's like, okay, but there's a lot to do out there.
Yeah, dude. Well, you go around Big Bend country and all that. It's dry desert.
Yeah.
It's type right, but you have the canyons.
Yeah.
You have, I mean, there's some beautiful landscape in that. You know, you call it quote unquote the desert, but it's not really. It's
right, exactly.
Different.
If you've been out there, you see it for like the beauty that's actually out there.
Yeah, exactly, man. Even in the high plains of you go with the Panhandle. There's some canyons up there in Canyon, Texas, which is south of Amarillo or whatever. They have the Palador Canyon, and they have a like Western show they put on there daily or weekly or something like that, where they have like stagecoach and they're all cowboy get up and stuff like that, and they do a big show. But it's a big event. Same thing. You go trail ride, you can go horseback riding, climbing or trail walking or whatever the case. Right. So there's a lot to do. Dude, all over the state, man. And I had my friend of mine the other day when I was in Austin last weekend. I was talking to him the other day, and he was saying that he didn't realize how much there was to do. And when I was up in Austin, he started kind of just poking around and looking or whatever. He didn't realize all the rivers and sinkholes and swimming holes and lakes and everything that is surrounding
just
Austin.
Around that area.
Yeah, just the hill country. You have all those beautiful spots around town. I was like, yeah, man, because he started Googling Austin, like things to do, and immediately came up like the big sinkhole that's out west of Austin a little ways. Some beaches that are like quote unquote beaches, but they're on the lake. Shit like that not everybody knows about. Whatever, but you can go kayaking. You can get lost up there and all that outdoor stuff to do around that area. So it's pretty badass.
I haven't been to Austin enough, actually. Yeah. And people keep telling me, like, I've been there, but I really haven't been there enough to really explore all the stuff like that. Where I need to just go and be like, I want to not do like these, like when I go, it's usually like, hey, some friends are wanting to go hit up these bars or these town. Yeah, 6th Street. Yeah. Or like a bachelor party. And I need to go where I'm trying to like see what Austin has to offer with these other things, because everyone keeps telling me, actually I've had a lot of people tell me that they're like, you would love to live in Austin, like it's your town, like because they see me that I'm like this kind of creative mind, but also at the same time I'm big into like fitness, and they're like, you can do both here. Like you go and when we were at a bachelor party, I'm an early bird, and so I woke up before everybody and went to go get people breakfast, and just driving at like 8 a.m. on a Saturday, the parks are full of people like being active and stuff like that, and it was just like the coolest thing to see. You're aware of the On It Academy up there, right? Is in Austin. I think I heard that a while back. I mean, it slipped my mind. But yes. You On It is the Aubrey Marcus gym, co-owned by Joe Rogan, all that good stuff. He pushes that a lot. Yeah. So they sell all their supplements and stuff. Is what he pushes, the Alpha Brain and all that stuff. Yeah. And, believe it or not, whatever. And fitness equipment. They got fitness equipment too. But they have an actual gym on location in Austin where they do all kinds of fitness, but they have jiu-jitsu. They do like kickboxing training. There's several UFC fighters that train out of that place. Mike Dolce is the... I listen to his podcast. Big fan of Mike Dolce. I've read a couple of his books. Yeah, and nutrition guy, right? Yeah. Like just on point with all that stuff. I watched a lot of his videos that are on the On It website where he goes through the grocery store. Yeah. And he's like, this good, this bad, right? Eat this, not that type thing. Exactly. This perimeter shopping on that. You think this is good for you, and a lot of whatever the myth and whatever you read the label, XYZ, this is why it's not good, it's a myth. Yeah. Leave it alone, whatever. So he's got some really cool stuff going, man. And anyway, he's based out of On It and all that stuff. Awesome. So it's a big academy up there. I had a buddy of mine that used to work out there, and he said it was really cool when it first started, and then it got really expensive when they got bigger. So they started charging more, and he said, at a certain point it became where it was too much for him, didn't make sense to keep going that way. So, but it's one of those, that's one of those spots they're doing a lot of innovation out of that place too, when it comes to fitness and training and stuff like that, which is pretty cool, I think. Yeah, I like that they're pushing multiple like aspects of it. It's not just a supplement place. Like they have equipment, they have nutrition experts. It's like, but it would be cool to just go visit and check out like everything they have to offer. Because I didn't know about the they actually run like jiu-jitsu out of there and stuff like that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's an MMA. They have an MMA facet of it.
That's cool.
And you know who else opened up a gym in Houston actually last year that was a big multi-level type thing was Adrian Peterson.
Yes, heard about that.
Yeah.
Heard about that.
Adrian Peterson opened up a gym in North Houston somewhere where he was having jiu-jitsu out of it. He had sports
I didn't know that.
training.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like MMA
I'll
stuff.
go roll
all that
with
stuff.
Adrian Peterson.
Dude, no shit.
I'll do some jiu-jitsu. Well, I say that, I don't know. He could be like, is he a black belt? He could be.
He's strong.
Yeah.
He's a
Well, I
strong
know that.
human being. Black belt or not.
Adrian Peterson, really?
Yeah.
No.
He's got one of those, his big thing is the legendary handshake, right? You've heard about that?
Oh, for real? No, I didn't know
Yeah, he's
about
got
that.
handshake that like crushes. I mean, it's a thing with Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
People meet him and he's just like crunch.
Does he do it on purpose?
Yes.
You think he does it on purpose?
Yes.
Okay. He knows.
He knows.
This is all right.
Yeah, like you're a man shaking my hand, and he's just gonna let you know.
So
he
what
can
you're saying is
dominate you
get
at
to
any
his
point.
back in a hurry and keep it and work
Yes.
quick.
You may have a lot more confidence than me. I have zero confidence.
It would be fun to say you rolled with Adrian Peterson.
Yes,
though.
it would be.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Well, you're strong. You're a strong dude too. You can hold Adrian Peterson down. That'd be something.
Pretty. I don't know. I'd be scared. I'd be scared until we got in there, and then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But until there was that, oh, okay, I'd be scared and just like whatever, shit myself.
I still haven't gone and checked out the Green Ranger.
Who's the Green Ranger?
You know, I don't know. I forget his name, but he's an MMA guy. The Power Ranger, the Green Ranger.
Is now
He has
an
a place off of Pearland Parkway.
He's now an MMA guy.
He's been an MMA guy.
Oh well, I guess Power Ranger, right? Kickboxing
Yeah,
and
like,
shit,
but
right?
apparently, like, he's big into martial arts. But he has a few spots. I don't know, but he has a few spots, and he's competed at. I don't want to get it wrong. I don't know what promotions, but he's a professional MMA fighter, and he has a place off of Pearland Parkway. But he's the Green Ranger, Tommy, I think. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember the Power Rangers.
Yeah,
I don't remember
but,
names.
like,
You're gonna be pushing my memory.
that's
here.
all I know is I
remember the white one.
Tommy
was
the
cool
Green
guy.
Ranger is it is the white one.
What do you mean the white one?
All right, so we're gonna get into some nerdy stuff
Yeah, let's
right here.
nerd
But
out,
no,
man.
the Green Ranger is the White Ranger. It's the same Power Ranger. It's Tommy.
You're blowing my mind.
He
right now.
transformed into or became the White Ranger from the Green Ranger.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean somebody might have to fact check me
I'm
out
gonna
there. It's
say-
been a minute since I've seen Power Rangers, but pretty sure if I remember correctly, if my math is correct, the Green Ranger and the White Ranger are the same guy, and it's Tommy, and he's an actual MMA fighter, actual martial artist, and he's based out of a place in
Because he had to
Pearland
be
Parkway.
like, they were like 20 when the Power Rangers was going
Well,
on,
this
right?
this is the original. I'm talking about like the one from the 90s.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But they were like 20 years old then, right?
Oh yeah, you're talking about age?
Yeah.
No, he's older. Yeah.
So he's got to be
Yeah.
probably close to 40 or 50 now, huh?
I don't know. I think maybe 40s, mid 40s.
Well, good on him.
Yeah.
The Green Ranger, is that the name of his gym?
No, I
Mighty
don't know the
Morphin?
name. I'll find out the name and hit you up with that on the June podcast.
The Mighty
More to come.
The Mighty Morphin MMA gym.
Yeah. Telling you. But look, all these people you can learn MMA from or go roll with. Like I can say I roll with the Green Ranger. I can say I
Yeah.
roll with Adrian Peterson. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dirty. Adrian, so let me ask you, let's nerd out a little bit. If you could roll with anybody in the world right now, who would it be?
Ooh, excellent question. Like straight jiu-jitsu?
We'll go jiu-jitsu and then we'll go some kickboxing.
All right.
So just jiu-jitsu, who would you want to roll with?
Anybody in the world. Oh, who? I'm forgetting his name. The director of Snatch and Lock, Stock, Two Smoking
Guy
Barrels.
Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie's
so
a black
he's a
belt.
black belt.
He may fuck you up.
No, I'm not saying I'm gonna beat him. That wasn't the question. The question wasn't who do you think you can take. No, I want to learn and roll with Guy Ritchie to say because I love the movie Snatch. It's one of my
Yes.
favorite movies.
Yes.
There's so many cool scenes. And then when I listened to Joe Rogan's podcast where he had Guy Ritchie, and I learned that this guy is a black belt.
Yes.
A legit black belt.
Since the 90s.
Yes.
He watched Choke and
Yeah.
then got into jiu-jitsu then.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, these guys.
And that shows with martial arts how I've always said this. You don't know who knows what.
Yes.
I'm saying you can't go pick fights anymore. You don't know who knows what. Guy Ritchie is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And I never
Legit
knew that.
Gracie black belt.
So
Yeah.
I would actually love to roll with him to just talk with him and work with him.
Yeah.
And I think that would be cool because I never would have known that he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
That's a good answer.
He's just the director of Snatch to me, which is an amazing movie. But I'm like, oh, yeah, and he does this?
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I would want to roll with Putin.
Vladimir Putin?
Yes. He's a black belt
just
in judo.
But that's what I was asking. I was like, are y'all starting from your knees? Because if not, he's gonna throw you.
Toss my ass.
He's gonna hop off that horse.
He's a legit black belt in judo.
Just throw you.
And yeah, I just fucking Russia and shit.
Yeah.
Right. Get him a little headlock and maybe
Do you think he gets mad if somebody is like
better than him?
Is somebody best him like in a
and then they get shot
in practice? Yeah. Do you think he's just like, all right, line it up, or do you think he's just like I don't
know. I'd want to have like SEAL Team 6 with me or some shit. I'll roll
just to watch your back,
just in case. So what about sparring? If you can go kickboxing 5 rounds with somebody.
See, you make it seem like a competition, like I'm really trying to win or trying to learn.
Well, I mean.
Because another one I would love to work with is Joe Rogan, but I know if like we're just going straight up like sparring, that dude is crushing me. That dude is gonna whoop me.
He's got that little reverse kick heel thing.
Like I'm trying to decide if you're asking like
be whatever
fight,
you want to be. It's
like
hypothetical, man.
Like Fight Club style, where like okay, name somebody you would love to like fight, like to try to actually beat them.
Name a president you'd love to
fight.
Abraham Lincoln. He'd be pretty tough with his length.
I mean, he's got the reach. Yeah, he's got the reach advantage. Susceptible to bullets, but most of us are.
Yeah.
Too soon for a Abraham Lincoln assassination joke.
Yeah, no joke.
No, I'm trying to think who I would like to spar with, like if I was just going. And I'm trying to think who knows what. But yeah, what would be cool is like working with like another athlete from a different sport that kind of dabbles in that. Like I know Clay Matthews works with. He's done a lot of hand fighting work and a lot of MMA stuff just to get better at that. So it'd be cool to say like, okay, like you're only doing this enough to get good at it for football. It'd be fun to like, I have a couple years of experience, a few years of experience in it. It'd be fun to go like with him, like Clay Matthews.
Some of that's interesting just for the fact that these dudes, like Clay Matthews is 6'3", 6'4", 280, and just a complete crazy athlete.
Oh, he's an animal, yeah.
So what does it look like sparring him? Like he's a super elite athlete, but can he fight? Like would you be able to best him in some category just with movement and technique? Well,
that's what's crazy about the sport. Yeah, is we have people that jump in from like other sports or anything, and the movement is so awkward if you haven't been doing it.
Yeah,
like football movements compared to MMA movements, they're different. They're two different sports for a reason. Yeah,
wide base.
Yeah,
lateral movements, and absolutely.
Well, even look at two closer sports. Boxing compared to mixed martial arts, you can't get heavy on your front foot in MMA. You're gonna get kicked and get that leg eaten up. Whereas boxing, you can have a wider stance, a little bit more weight on your front leg is acceptable. Whereas if MMA, you try that, you're gonna get taken down. You're gonna get ate up with kicks.
Yeah,
it just doesn't translate. And they're two very similar sports.
Exactly. Yeah.
To an extent. Yeah.
It's there's a guy playing for the Sixers right now, I believe. It's either Sixers or who did the Cavs just get done playing? I think it was who the Cavs were. The Pacers. There's a guy on the Pacers who's like 4 or 5 and 0 in MMA. 6'9" NBA player, just monster. But there was a loose ball foul, or there was a loose ball, and he came and he just like tackled 2 people. Like he's like the enforcer on the team. Like he's not a superb basketball player or whatever, but he's just kind of like whatever. And he came and like close-alarmed like 2 people on the sideline or whatever, like to clear it up so somebody else can get the ball.
Yeah.
And they got up all pissed off and turned around and seen it was him, and we're like, oh, okay, we're good. And just like walked off like nobody got in his face. Nobody wants to fuck with him. So they were talking about it on the radio after that game. That was pretty funny that nobody wants to jack with him because he's like legit.
He's got that size.
Dude, yeah. Can you imagine? That's like Stefan Struve, 7 foot, 6'11", whatever he is. Like I wouldn't even know how to begin to fight that, but Mark Hunt knocked him out. I think Roy Nelson knocked him out.
Yeah. Have you seen talking about big people? You seen that documentary on the Giant, Andre the Giant?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So good.
And it was funny. What made me think about it was you were talking about like people not want to mess with this big guy, and they got into that part about Hulk Hogan was even worried if Andre the Giant was gonna let Hulk lift him and slam him and get the win over him and all that, because they said Andre the Giant liked to play games or mess with him, so he was just like, it'll finish how I want it to finish, or something like that. Yeah. And Hulk Hogan was talking to Vince McMahon like, is he being serious?
He had no idea.
You got Hulk Hogan, who's already a big dude.
Yeah.
Big dude, and is a legend, and he's going against this guy who's bigger. So to him, he's worried about this guy, what this big dude's gonna do. Can you
imagine
Andre
being that big?
Let
me do to him?
Can you imagine being that big where big guys are worried about you? You know what I mean? That's some crazy size.
Yeah, that's unreal, man.
Yeah.
Because Hulk Hogan's 6'6".
Yeah.
6'6",
Yeah, he's a small
pounds,
dude, and you're talking about Hulk Hogan
up.
In his prime. This dude is
82.
Yeah.
82 Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's worried about, hey, is this guy gonna let me do what we're supposed to? How I drew it up. We don't know.
Andre the Giant's the whole time.
He can do whatever
Andre
he wants.
the Giant was the whole time he's like, I don't know, man. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll just don't worry about it. So they go into the match, and it all started out exactly how Hogan wrote it up.
Yeah.
He started out, I'm gonna start off with this and do this and this, whatever. And Hogan was like, yeah, and then he played it out, scripted everything perfect, and then it got to the point to where it was the finishing move that he wouldn't come up with, and he's like, slam me.
That's cool how he he told him to do that. That was cool. I don't know how much of that is just hearsay and then telling for the story, but if that's the way it went down, that's really cool. It says a lot for Andre the Giant.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He knew what was best for the sport to pass the torch.
Yeah.
Right, and that was that blew everything into the Hulkamania and all the crazy shit in the 80s, man.
Yeah.
It was that was a really badass documentary. The him talking about if he didn't like you, and he would just go in there and beat the shit out of people for 20 minutes and nothing they could do.
Or you could yell at them if they were backstage acting up.
Yeah.
If they were backstage acting a fool, he would let them know, get out. Bro, you don't want him yelling at you.
Yeah.
That would be to go back to that question you asked, it'd be cool to spar with a professional wrestler. You know what I mean? Because
CM Punk?
Yeah. I was thinking more like The Rock. Just to hang out with The Rock, really. I'd spar The Rock if I got to hang out with him, yeah. Go to Hawaii, me and The Rock hang out.
We didn't get to see CM Punk if he had any skills or not.
No, he's fighting again.
I know he is.
Fighting Mike the True Jackson out of Houston. Hello, what's up? I'm getting ready.
Think you can whoop him? Think you can whoop CM Punk?
Which one?
CM Punk.
No, you think who can whoop him?
You.
Oh, me? I think I got him. I think I got him beat. I don't know if he's been doing it long enough. I don't know. It'd be close because
he fights at 180, right?
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to go against CM Punk.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's got it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a move that the UFC did for money and recognition, and that kind of is what irks me with the UFC is they do so much of that now. It's you have great fighters. Stop trying to do these ridiculous things and put the matchups that people want to see.
Yeah.
They used to do that. They used to be okay, who do you want to see? Because that's what they had over boxing for a while. When who do the fans want to see?
6 years for Pacquiao Mayweather.
Yes. Yeah. And now the UFC is doing stuff like these crazy stunts and these crazy super fights. It's give us the ones we're telling you to give us, and people are going to pay the pay-per-view money. So
Stipe DC,
great fight, great matchup. See, that's what I want to see.
Yeah,
that's a good fight.
Good do you watch The Ultimate Fighter at all?
I haven't been watching this one. I want to. It's just
timing.
See the way the way my internet and cable is set up and TV package.
my checkings and savings.
See the way my packages TV package is set up. Is that on?
It's on the FS1.
Yeah, I don't even think I have that channel.
Fox Sports 1.
Do you have
ESPN?
We're streaming, bro. We're streaming now.
Do you have ESPN?
We're one of those. No, we don't have. No, we have Amazon Prime, and we have HBO through that, and we have Netflix.
Oh yeah, then you probably.
Everyone's getting away from that.
I know. That's the way to go. I'm pretty close to pulling that trigger.
Yeah.
The only thing that's keeping me there is sports.
Well, I was telling you earlier how I don't watch TV during the week really. Like I don't have time. And then on the weekends, me and my wife watch the shows that we
and
both
you can get it all
like
on
together.
Amazon
watch
and
those,
Netflix.
And even then we're not sitting in front of the TV for hours. We're maybe watching like 2 hours at night on a Friday night, and then that's it for the weekend.
It's a silly thing, cable and satellite and stuff. We still have it, but like I said, it's the only reason why I'm still there is Red Zone Channel, NFL. Like tonight, I'm gonna turn on the Rockets game. We're gonna watch the Rockets play. We'll watch baseball.
Well, during football season, I do my PlayStation View, and I do get the Red Zone package because I do the fantasy footballs, so I gotta
fantasy footballs.
I don't do it as much as I'd like. Like I'm not able to invest as much time as when the first 2 seasons. Bro, I was all about it.
Dominating.
That's all I got to the playoffs or the Super Bowl both times. I won the first year I ever did fantasy football, and then I was the runner-up in the second year, and then last year I got my butt kicked.
It'll make you a better football fan.
It would. That's what because people say the opposite. A lot of people say the opposite, like, oh no, but I say no. I said it has me watching teams and pulling for teams
that you don't care about,
that I never would have like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It'll make you a better football fan. But if you're like a diehard Cowboys fan or something like that, it'll make you a lesser Cowboys fan. Does that make sense? You'll be lesser of a fan of a team, but you'll be a better fan of football.
I'm already a real lesser fan of the Cowboys because I hate the Cowboys.
I know.
And
that's been a going theme on this podcast.
My 2 favorite teams are the Texans and whoever's playing Dallas that week. Those are my 2 favorite teams.
I got 31 flags, 31 NFL flags in my house, and I fly. Whoever the Cowboys are playing, that's the flag I fly that week.
I'm telling you, that's my favorite team.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. I used to be pretty highly emotional into football. Like, I had a lot of emotional investment in it. I'd never missed a game, watched it, loved it. Listened to the radio all the time. That's all I listened to was sports radio. That's kind of what got me away from listening to music every day and starting to listen to talk radio and stuff like that. But then eventually I got into these podcasts over the last 3 years or so, and kind of just my interest in the NFL has kind of fizzled in that sense, just because I'm interested in other things now that take up my time, where it used to be football was all the time. Yeah. So interesting little transition. I still, between 2003 and 2015, I could probably name you ridiculous amount of stats, people, wins, losses, games. Like, I just have a memory bank full of shit. That was just, it's ridiculous. We had the NFL draft. We did a podcast on the NFL draft the other day with me and a couple of buddies, and I went back and listened to it, and I'm like, we got so much shit wrong. Like, just little stupid stuff that you like, what's his name? And we said his name wrong or whatever the case. But then I got back and realized, like, we did 3 hours talking about the NFL, like, without taking notes, without studying. Yeah, you were still able to, like we just off the top of our heads. So I was like, fuck it, we did pretty good.
Did all right.
Yeah, we
all
did pretty
things
good.
Considered, yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, man, it's, fantasy's a lot of fun. Last year I got cursed by Lil B. Do you know this? Lil B, the bass god. He's a rapper. He curses people, evidently. So he cursed like Kevin Durant and James Harden, like a bunch of NBA players and shit like that, because they were like talking shit about him or something. And he's like, "Oh, sit your curse. You're never gonna win championship." And that was like the year that Kevin Durant and OKC went to the championship and they lost. And then like the next year he like cursed James Harden. Like he started cursing people and then bad shit started happening to him. And so everybody's like, he got on like ESPN and talking all this stuff. So he uncursed Durant since like 2 years later, uncursed him, and then he won a championship with Golden State.
Uncursed him.
And but anyways, a buddy of mine in our league emailed him, and I was the commissioner, and he said, "Our commissioner's a real asshole. He does this and that, blah, blah. He's a real jerk, talks a lot of shit. I'd be really honored if you could curse him."
That is awesome.
And he replied back, he said, "Got you, fam." And yeah, so last year I went from the first 5 years of this league, I was in the playoffs every year. I was points lead. I had the best record, just rolling through people, was dominating. And last year I got last place and the least amount of points scored. So, Little B curse. I'm not going to say it's real.
I don't know. It's easy to put it on that instead of saying, look, Did you try sitting down with your team and explaining like each game, like you want better from them?
So
you
I rolled with
better from
Julio
them.
Jones and Mike Evans all last year, and those were my two receivers, and I was lucky to get 15 points between the two of them.
Yeah.
So it was just bad. Like that's what the curse part come from. It wasn't like my team got hurt. Like they were all still good, and I still lost. So
I just don't think you were stepping up as a coach. You know what I mean?
Probably right. It's management over anything.
Yeah, you're probably not having the late nights like you should have been. You know, in the study, in the film room.
Not putting in the hours.
You know, were you the first one into the building? You know what I mean? Last one to leave, kind of mentality.
This was the first year that I didn't put a significant amount of time into the prep, into draft prep, and
it'll hurt you
doing all that stuff. Yeah, like I said, I'm not as emotionally invested. It was right around Hurricane Harvey, too. Was we were supposed to draft the day that Harvey hit, so that kind of threw everything for a loop. We ended up drafting like 2 weeks later. So we had a lot of shit going, but everybody had a lot of shit going on. So that's not an excuse, but it was just whatever.
I'm gonna need a better presser from you.
I know.
Give a better press conference, speech.
We gotta do better this year. I gotta shave my legs and put on some Daisy Dukes for my punishment and get in last place. No, that's our punishment for last
for real?
place. You gotta shave your legs and put on.
Do you have to go somewhere like to show that off?
So that's kind of the idea. You're kind of at the mercy.
Let's go to Big
of the
Texas,
league.
man.
Yeah,
Me and Brandon will go out. We'll all go to Big Texas. They may not let me in if I go in there, or they may let me in for free. I don't know. Depending on who's at the door. I haven't been in a while, but I think they'll let you in.
Oh yeah. So, fitness.
Yeah, let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it. So what are we? Are we 2 month and a half? Where is it? Where are we at? When did we start? It was the beginning of March.
Yeah, because it was. I think we had a couple weeks of April, but then mainly March. Yeah, that's exactly where we were.
So
sorry, March. Couple weeks of March, and then through April.
And then April, and then now we're beginning in May. So we'll call it 6 weeks in or so, 6-7 weeks in. Down about 20 pounds. We'll just run through kind of what I'm feeling. So I'm feeling stronger, feeling like moving the weights. The push-ups, the runs, the sprints, endurance is up, strength is up. Just overall fatigue and like wind, like I said, stamina, all that stuff's going up. I'm pretty impressed with how much stronger I feel. Grip strength, just grabbing stuff around the house or whatever. Like I feel like I could crush things. You know? Just the grip strength's back. More so than when I was just doing the MMA last year, right?
Yeah.
Just doing MMA, grip strength and all that stuff came back with the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and all that stuff, but it took a lot longer. I feel like my grip strength is stronger now than it was then. Just deadlifting and dumbbells and, holding things and the pulls.
Yeah.
All the pulls and stuff we do, that just kills my forearms. But feeling good, man. The weight is not flying off like it has previous, but I'm also not doing some crazy diet. I'm not doing some, keto or 1,000 calorie or less or whatever. I'm eating normal, but just clean.
Yeah.
And so it's been a steady 3 to 4 pounds a week or something like that. So where we're at 6 weeks or so.
Yeah.
It's been about 3 pounds a week.
So if you've been losing about 3 pounds a week, that's actually on the good side.
Yeah.
That's actually on a very steady, consistent, healthy side.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we can't lose more than that. I'm saying without doing anything extreme, we've been doing very good to lose that weight consistently.
Yeah.
And that's what you're supposed to really that's what you see is the 3 pounds a week is actually a very good mark.
Yeah.
We can do stuff to take it up, which we'll get to in a minute, but just saying don't feel discouraged because you're actually right along with where the normal pace of how much weight, if you're trying to go into weight loss, where you should be at for somebody who's not competing in anything or this or that. You know what I mean? Like barring stuff like fitness competitions or MMA fighters who need to drop a certain amount of weight really fast.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to be doing something a lot more intense because they're competing at a weight class.
That's what I've done before, is tried to...
More intense stuff?
diet wise, right?
Diet-wise,
like
yeah.
just I did the keto diet last year. I did half a chicken breast and a cup of broccoli was a meal, and I'd have 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
And that was it. And so weight flew off, like, for sure, and it was, but it also wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
So, and I told my wife that. She mentioned something. She's like, well, you're not, she goes, well, you're not losing the weight as fast as you were last time, huh? And I was like, no. I said, but kind of the same thing. I was like, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I was like, because I'm not doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just working out and eating clean. And so I feel like this may be more sustainable, where I don't have like, okay, I'm not eating this crazy stupid diet and I start gaining the weight back. I just keep eating clean like we're doing, and I feel like I've kept working out like this for a year, which I plan on doing. I don't even know what my body would look like or strength would look like or whatever, by the time it's all said and done. It just keeps getting better like we are. Eventually it'll plateau or get somewhere, but it'll just be...
And then you make adjustments and changes. But I like that you said you plan on doing it for, a year and longer. So like you see yourself doing... Because if you remember the first podcast, the thing that I stressed the most was creating habits. Mm-hmm. Making it to where you want to go to the gym, you want to eat right, you want to do all this stuff because you're understanding that it's working for you and stuff like that, as opposed to saying, I got to hurry up and get to this point.
Yeah.
Because then once you're at that finish line, if that's how you look at it and you're like, okay, I'm trying to get to this finish line, once you're there, it's like, okay, now what? And that's where you see a lot of roller coaster people where they lose a lot of weight, or if they're trying to gain weight, they'll gain the weight, either one, whatever their goals are. But a lot of people roller coaster where they get to the point they want to be at, then they get complacent, or they're like, hey, I achieved it, now I don't have to worry about it, and it fall off that wagon because they got there so quick that they didn't make it a habit. They didn't make it a desire to go, like, if I don't work out, like if I go 2 days without working out, like I feel it, like I don't like it. And same thing with eating. If I eat, like I eat clean a lot, and it's because I enjoy it. I enjoy the way I feel, and I know, like, if I go and have like a real bad meal, my body doesn't like it. Like, it's not like me saying like, oh, I shouldn't have had that and guilt tripping myself. My body says, hey, that was dumb. Like, we don't like that. Yeah. So because it's a habit now. So I do like that you're like, I hope you understand how big of a deal that is to me. Is that now you said, like, if I keep doing this for a year, I'm gonna be in real good shape. Yeah, you're damn right. Yeah, like, that's exactly the right way to look at it. Yeah. Is don't look at it in the short term. Yeah, we have these goals that we're trying to get to, but really, the whole point of this is to make habits that you're gonna be able to continue and keep doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. It's been pretty good. It's been all positive for sure. After the first 2 weeks or so of the initial soreness that you get when you start working out again and all that soreness kind of went away. And we've been doing the workouts and stuff you put me on. I've been, I'm able to work the entire time. Yeah. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but it's all things I can push through. It's that high rev limiter workouts that we talked about last time. Heart rate's going up, and you're pushing, and then it's like, okay, and then you bring it back down, and we're going to do something where it's just some static lifting or whatever the case. And then boom, we're going to already got it going. Exactly. And then rev it back up, and so I like it because I'm able to push through it. I don't get crazy fatigued where I'm I can't drink a cup of water when you're done lifting that or whatever the case. Well, that's the idea. If you weren't able to, especially like talking about during the workout, if you're not able to finish it, we're leaving reps on the table that will get the heart rate up, get the core body temperature up, get us burning fat, building muscle if you're not able to finish. And so that's why modifications come, like, I make you do a lot of push-ups. Yes. Well, we have two different modifications for it. The one where you lean on a bar. If once you're too fatigued to control your push-ups, we do where you have a bar set up on a rack and you do like elevated push-ups, or the push-ups where we go, my favorite, where you go all the way down to the ground like a burpee and you just press back up off the ground. But that way you're getting the movement. That's what it's about. Dude, so I've never been good at push-ups or anything like that, but that little modification that we did where we just go all the way to the ground, chest to the ground, and then push all the way back up, and
knees and everything off the ground, and then go down. Because I forever when doing a high volume of push-ups, whatever, I would just do them on my knees.
Yeah, and I can't stand that for anybody.
Well, it's just what I thought we were
no,
supposed
absolutely.
to do. What I was supposed
everyone,
to do.
Yeah,
but
everyone uses that as the modification, and it's. I heard it from somebody put it really well when they said the only way to get or doing push-ups from your knees is only going to get you good at doing push-ups from your knees. You're never going to be able to take that to doing strict push-ups, or if you do it, it's going to take forever.
Yeah, and that's pretty much been my experience with it. Is I did P90X a lot when I was 19, 20, or 21, like that. And there's a lot of push-ups and a lot of stuff in that. Yeah. And I would do it on my knees because that's what they said in the video. If you can't do it, just do them from your knees and this and that. And I never got to the point to where I was able to rep out
just crank up some,
of actual, real push-ups. And then just the 6 weeks or so I've been doing it with you, my form's so much better. I just have so much more control. Yeah. And also I'm like, well, this is what I should have been doing the whole damn time. It's just like, it's like a light bulb went off, and I was just like, this makes so much more sense.
And it's so simple. The modification is simple. Like you can do it literally anywhere. You can do a push-up. You can do the modification.
Yeah, and it's good, man. I mean, we go in and we do some workouts are 50 push-ups, some workouts are 100. I mean, we've knocked out a lot, and I really enjoy. You're gonna have to help me with the name. The 85% max 1 rep lifts
for 12 minutes.
Yes.
Sediv set.
Yeah. So
and,
that is awesome, and I was thinking about it the other day because in other cycle of lifting that I've done previous, it's been you go up to your 85% of your max and you do 5 reps or 2 reps or whatever. 4 sets of 5.
Yeah.
And so you go 5 or whatever the case and this and that. But it doesn't, I feel like I can do more doing the 1 rep, racking it, stretching out, 1 rep, rack, stretch it out.
Yeah, and you're on a 12-minute thing.
And you're on a 12 minute.
And you're saying it, probably if you look at the numbers compared to like if you did what you're talking about compared to where you're hitting the singles for as many reps or as many singles you can get in 12 minutes. If you calculate, which we do with the Sediv set, if you calculate pound for pound how much you lifted,
it's more.
I guarantee it's more than what you've hit. You've hit way more reps than,
That's my point that I'm getting at is that doing it that way, you lift more than you would if you just wanted to do the 2 set, 5 sets, or 4 sets, whatever the 4 reps per set or whatever the case on your heavy max. And that's another lift that I've never done before or heard of or whatever the case. Something else that you taught me that I really enjoy. We did it with deadlift. We did it with bench.
Those are the 2.
Yeah.
So I got to give credit where credit's due.
Okay.
So Rich Sediv, does that name ring a bell?
No, it does not.
So it's called a Sediv set is what it's called. The workout's called. And it's this guy, Rich Sediv. So one of the certification, multiple, ton of certifications, but one of them, my favorite ones, some are really good and I took a lot from it. Some were, I was like,
You just got the paper.
But man, the Training for Warriors system with Martin Rooney, he's a world-class strength and conditioning coach, and he specializes with a lot of martial artists and training them for competition. He's the one that invented the hurricane that we do pretty much every day.
Yeah.
At least we started off. That's the warm-up. But his one of his main lifting partners and good friends is Rich Sediv, and Rich Sediv is this not to insult, but he's like this taller, skinnier guy. He's not who you would picture when you're thinking about these guys that have world record lifts. Okay. But he's a multiple world record holder in the deadlift. He loves the deadlift, and he has like multiple. When I say multiple world records, I mean like weight classes. Like he's competed in like different weight classes and won titles at all these weight classes. And they call him the human crane because he's just this tall,
just lift.
Tall like leaner guy, but like man, this guy can lift. He's good, excellent form, excellent instructor, an amazing dude. very intense when he's lifting too. If you look up on YouTube some lifts, he just comes out of this room, and Martin Rooney talks, like, there's a YouTube video where he's lifting with Martin Rooney, and Martin Rooney's like, yeah, Rich Sadiv just went in there to get his mind right. We don't know what he's doing, but he's going to come back out here and lift this weight. And he just comes like walking out with a sense of purpose and like just all jacked up and like hits this crazy lift, and then like goes back in the room to get his, ready for the next set, which is an intense person.
Yeah.
But that was what he invented. It's a Sadiv set. You use 80 to 90% of your max on the bar for either bench or deadlift, and you hit one rep, rack it, shake it out a little bit, regrip, go again, and you do it for as many singles as you can get in 12 minutes. And then what was really cool is one time I used it on some high school kids I was training. I was training one power lifter for Pearland High School, and then a varsity track jumper for Dawson, and trying to help him get ready for state. And we were using the Sadiv set in our program, and I posted like a Facebook video about it, and I didn't expect like anything. I was just posting like doing the Sadiv set from King Rich. That's his other nickname. They call him King Rich or the Human Crane. Blah, blah. Well, he, I guess, saw it somehow. I don't know, but he commented on it, and I fangirled out, bro. I was like, oh my God, you're my idol. You're just amazing, dude. And he was just like, thanks, man. Y'all keep it up. I'm like, oh, Rich. Like, I called up my wife, and she's like, yeah, I don't know who that is. Like, I'm like, just be happy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tell me yes.
It's like if you met whoever girls are look up to. I don't know. Like if you met Justin Bieber, I don't know.
Yeah,
or the person who creates shoes.
Product or something.
But but I was like ecstatic, but it was just really cool. But cool. It's Rich Sadiv. He invented that, and it's an amazing circuit.
Yeah, it's a good
like,
one.
For anyone who hasn't tried it, go do that right now. You use 80 to 90% of your max on either deadlift or bench, and you hit as many singles as you can do in 12 minutes.
Yep.
And you go until the 12 minutes is up, and it'll let you know.
Yeah, it's a good one, man, because that's another one. Like I said, you don't get crazy fatigued. You don't get to where you can't rep it. It's kind of go at your own pace. Though you're pushing yourself, but you're also, I don't know. I really like that. I really enjoyed.
That's one of my favorites.
Those two, man. So. The hurricanes. How often does other people do hurricanes in your program?
So it depends. I will say you do them the most. Yeah. You do them the most because I think they work best for what we're trying to get for you.
Yeah.
And especially when we talked about on the first podcast where I'm not a believer in being there for 2 hours at a time. We can come in, get our 15-minute warm-up and our 45-minute of actual lifting and have a good day, especially when you use stuff like a 15 to 20-minute hurricane, where you might as well have done a full hour workout is what it feels like. You know what I mean? And then we still have time to do other stuff.
So explain, I don't know that we explained it last time what a hurricane is, but explain it to them now.
Okay, and this is from the Training for Warriors system with Martin Rooney, but it's 3 rounds. And each round consists of 3 sets. Each set consists of a sprint and 2 resistance exercises. And then each round, the resistance exercises will change. The sprint stays the same. That's the variable that never changes. So we hit, what do you think it is, 30 yards down?
Yeah.
So it's about 30 yards, but we run it down and back twice.
Yeah. And
that's our sprint. And then we'll pick 2 resistance exercises. So I'll give you a basic one is if we did an all body weight one, we would do pull-ups and dips. So we'd hit our pull-ups and our dips. So we would sprint down back twice, 10 pull-ups, 10 dips. You do that 3 times. And then so after
sprint in between
sprint pull-ups, dips, sprint pull-ups, dips, sprint pull-ups, dips. And it's always 10 reps on the resistance exercises. So after 3 rounds of that, then we would go to 2 new resistance exercises. So it would be sprint, push-ups, chin-ups. Just change the positioning of your arms for that. So push-up, chin-ups, sprint, push-ups, chin-ups, sprint, push-ups, chin-ups 3 times. And this is nonstop. There's no rest in this. And then the last round, this is kind of my personal thing on it. It can be 2 more resistance exercises or abs. I love doing abs for the last round, no matter what. I always have the last round abs. It can be if you're doing a hurricane, it can be like if I wanted shoulder presses and bench pressing, it can be whatever. It's always got to be upper body resistance to every. I'd say that it's always. I don't know if you noticed, but it's never like we go squat, because if you're sprinting the way you're supposed to be sprinting, your legs are getting work there. I don't know if you noticed that. We've never done, like, the closest is we'll do complex movements like Olympic lifts or something. Well, but we never stop and deadlift.
We just do the little press and squat. You know, I don't,
like some people, like my fighters, I throw a lot of Olympic lifts in there with them where they have to do cleans and then like some muscle snatches.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, the last round I always like to make abs. And that's because I call that the gut check round.
Yeah.
Because really, with most ab exercises, it's your body weight. You're not moving any kind of like dumbbells or barbells. So I just keep the mindset of don't stop moving.
Yeah.
And it's really to build more mental strength than anything. Mm-hmm. To say don't lay there in between sets because you're hurting. Get up. Keep moving, keep pushing. It doesn't have to be at a fast speed, but don't stop moving.
Yeah.
And I think it builds a lot of mental toughness in that last round.
Yeah, man. Just the hurricanes themselves, man, endurance, it skyrockets. That first couple weeks, I'm dying, huffing and puffing, barely getting through it.
Yeah. So to answer your question, though, the fighters probably do it the second most. You do 2 a week, I think. I think you do 2 or 3 a week.
Yeah.
But fighters do 1 a week.
Yeah.
So every upper body day, they know that their cardio push is going to be a hurricane.
Yeah. I don't hate it, is the thing.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask you. You can answer that now if you want. I was going to ask you your favorite thing we've done and your least favorite thing we've done. And see,
the favorite thing
see
I've
why
done.
Also, you got to throw in why.
So the favorite thing I've done is the Sadiv set deadlift.
Good answer, because that's one of my favorites. Good answer.
That's probably my favorite one.
That's my favorite lift of all time.
Yeah,
I love deadlifts.
Just because, you know, I don't. You feel like you're doing something with that one, right? You're moving some big weight around. And that Sadiv set is good. It's one of those mental test things too. It's 12 minutes against yourself.
Yeah.
Just go. And I really enjoyed that one. I don't know why. It also doesn't include sprints, which is good, because we do a lot of sprints, which is not a bad thing. I know it's what I need, but just the actually sitting there and just concentrating on lifting for 12 minutes straight is a.
So I think you just said my 2 favorite things, exercise. I always say if you're not deadlifting or sprinting in your workout routine at some point, you ain't working out. Yeah. Sprints and deadlifts are the best things, in my opinion, that you can do.
Well, dude, my leg strength has gone through the roof, man. So the least favorite thing was probably one we did the other day, was that plate push.
Yeah, you did not like that. I could tell.
No, not.
You had to get through it, but I could tell you were not friends with that one.
No, I'm just not good at. I've never been good at bear crawls. I'm just in the. But I will say, when I started out doing that, it went a lot better than I thought it would. Just because my legs worked a lot better, just because we've been sprinting so much and we did the deadlifts. My legs were a lot stronger than possibly they had been in the past when I was doing.
Yeah, like if you were to do this a while back.
Exactly. So, but that's just not. I'm not a fan of bear crawls or pushing plates.
Then I
across
felt bad
floor.
for you because we have the sandpaper turf.
Yeah,
like it's like I don't know which trainer ordered our turf, but I think it's like they went in and they said, whichever one you could also use as sandpaper, we want that one. Like it's unforgiving.
It's like Velcro, Velcro turf.
So every time your knees hit the ground and slid a little bit, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Jared.
No, it wasn't good.
I'm sorry, man.
Good. That was the thing. Up. It's like they did start hurting, and so I'm like, okay, well, quit letting your knees hit the ground, and I just couldn't do it, man. I mean, you know,
you're it sounds good in theory. You're like, I get it. Like, if I could, I wouldn't let the knees touch.
Yeah, trust me, I don't want my knees bloody by the time this is over. But you know, So that was probably my least favorite. Just I'm not good at it.
That's good, because I don't have. I'm probably not going to give you much anyways. But if you would have said something like the sled, I would have felt bad, because I'm like, we're not getting rid of the sled anytime soon.
The sled I like. The lower handles suck.
They're supposed to.
But that, again, that's probably why those bear crawl slides went better than normal, just because that leg work is including those lower handle part of those sleds, and I just kind of, head down, concentrate on picking the knees up to your chest and drive, and I was an offensive lineman. We push sleds around all day long.
And it gets that heart rate up. That's why we use it.
It's good, man.
It gets that heart rate up quick to where, like I said, we get in fat burning zone. We start bringing that back down, jacking it back up. So anytime you're on that sled, it's gonna help with what we're trying to achieve.
You hopped on there one time. That wasn't a lot of
where
fun.
I stood on it?
Yeah.
Bro.
Look,
I'm only
extra 180.
Only 180 pounds, man.
No big deal.
Ain't nothing.
No, it's good, man. It's all been pretty good. The push-ups have gotten better. The legs have gotten better. The warm-up jog at the beginning, where I was struggling to get 2 minutes in, a couple months ago on a straight jog. I go 5 and 5, right? 5 minute little walk, heavy quick paced walk, and a 5 minute jog. And I come off, my legs or my calves are swollen and all this and that, just because the nature of carrying my body weight for 10 minutes and at that kind of pace. So I got to stretch them out and get all that stuff. But everything feels good, man. There's no aches, there's no pains, there's no tweaks. The biggest thing I told you, I couldn't quite figure it out about the 4th weekend or so. I was coming in, I was like, I'm not sore. I was like, but I'm not 100%. I figured it out. I'm fatigued. I'm just fatigued. We got leg day the day before when we go in and we're working upper body doing whatever. But if I'm working sprints in between doing that upper body, my legs are fatigued. And it's not sore. It's just fatigue, you know what I mean? So it's been
almost like they're hollow or like not willing to cooperate with
there,
what.
Right? I just don't have all that reserve there.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple times, almost scared to say this, but there's been a couple times where I finished up and I'm like, I could go more. But it's only been like 2 or 3 times. So I'm wondering if it wasn't, because there hasn't been one where like this workout's lighter than, they're all pretty rough, right?
Yeah.
Or, pretty intense and heavy and stuff. So I'm almost thinking it's something like maybe I ate better that day, or I had more. It's like I had more in the tank those couple days.
We'll go into that with how you've been eating.
So the waking up and making breakfast in the morning has not been going well. I did it for about the first 2 weeks. I was getting up at 4:30 and going, and then it just sleep until 5 and whatever. But when I get to work, they have these little pods or whatever. So some days I'll get in there and they'll be good. They'll have eggs and potatoes and bacon and all that, and sausage or whatever there. So some days I get in there and I'll go in there and I'll grab some eggs and sausage or whatever the case, and I'll eat that to begin with. And I have a question about this for you as well. And then the lunch is good, man. So where I'm working at, they call them wellness plates, and it's chicken breast, it's quinoa and green beans, or green beans and
say that again.
Quinoa.
Quinoa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just so you don't look like a jackass next time you order.
Yeah, okay.
They're probably like, this guy, it is quinoa.
There you go, whatever it's called. Yeah, I don't know.
It's quinoa. That's all right. Teach their own.
Yeah, it's
order
not,
how you want, man.
It's not grown in Texas. I don't know what I don't know. I can't pronounce French.
I can't tell you much about it, but I know the pronunciation, and it's good for you.
Exactly. But anyways, they have these little plates, man, and they're pretty good. So lunch is it's easy to do because I can go up there. It's a hot meal ready. It's fairly cheap, $6 or whatever there. So, and then go work out afterwards when we come home, and the wife and I do dinner. It's salads, it's chicken, fish, shrimp, whatever the case. She does steak like once a week or so we'll sit down and we'll have some steak. But for the most part, it's been going really well. The weekend in Austin wasn't great. Had beer. Had I had a pulled pork sandwich that I'm not sorry about at all. It was utterly amazing. That was at Salt and Thyme Butcher Shop up there in Austin. Y'all, next time they have the pulled pork on menu, because it was a specialty item just for that day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that sucker was good. Same thing with Banger Sausage House. I had some of their sausage, and I didn't order the fries. I ordered green beans and bacon. So be proud
Green
there.
beans and bacon, nice.
Be proud there. And I had some beers there. So that wasn't great, but for the most part, it's been pretty good. But my question is it better? Because you hear you want to eat something early,
Mm-hmm.
right? Get something to eat. Well, there's been cases to where I have an option to eat something, but it's not necessarily good. Crackers, like those little 8-pack of crackers that are like crackers and cheese or whatever.
Yeah.
They have like those snacks at work that I could eat like just while I'm sitting there working or whatever, just to have something. But is that better than not eating?
It's not. And we'll get further into this, but especially with what I have a little challenge for you. But back to what we're just. That part is no, it's not better to just have whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't say, oh, these M&Ms for breakfast are gonna be better than having nothing for breakfast.
Yeah,
like, that's not how the logic works.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But
no, you're right. It doesn't make sense, and it's the same with like you flip it the other way around where people. So this is the opposite end, but I get this a lot too, where people say they can't. You always hear like, oh, don't eat past 8. Or don't eat past 9 or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if you're having like broccoli and salad or vegetables, then yeah, you can eat past 9. But most people have beer and chips for snacks at night or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not healthy food. So it's kind of that logic where it's like you hear people tell you one thing, but it's not the case. You hear people tell you it's better to have breakfast. Well, it's not if you're eating. If I go to oh hey, Jack in the Box serves their full menu all day. I'm gonna go get a bacon ultimate cheeseburger for breakfast. Like no, that's not better than having nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know much about intermittent fasting?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And in January, when I was going back in and doing the MMA stuff, I was doing intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
And I actually went a couple like 36-hour sessions not eating.
Yeah.
Which was interesting body things.
You went a couple 30. Wait, say it again, because I don't think I either misunderstood you or you said
I was
something.
I was doing the keto diet.
Yeah.
I was doing the keto diet, and then I would eat from like 7 to 3, and then I would leave. I wouldn't eat after 3. I would go in. I'd work, do the MMA training. I'd come home, go to sleep, wake up, go to work. And so that 3 to 7 is, what are we calling, 12? That's like 17 hours or whatever, not eating. That was my intermittent fasting time to not eat. And then on Sundays, we wouldn't have any workout or whatever, and I wouldn't eat all day Sunday. I'd go 24 hours not eating.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way it landed was some of those 24 hours turned into 36 hours because just timing-wise. It actually felt pretty good.
Yeah. So I do intermittent fasting periodically. I'm on it right now, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do... I like it being my summertime program, or spring and summer program, and then fall and winter, I go back to eating more of a normal diet, I guess you could say, like normal hours. But and this is the second time that I've done it. I did it a while. I did it for like half a year and really liked it, and then took off for about a year just to eat normal, and then decided to do it again. But if that's something that works a little bit better, I wouldn't suggest it for everyone. Like that's one thing I want to make clear is I'm not telling you to do it because I do it. I'm telling, there's clients that have asked me about it, and I say it's not for you.
Yeah.
But I think it is something for you for if you wanted to try it as look at it as a short time thing for like the next couple months. If you wanted to try that, and then I think that would work for you, especially with I was thinking about your job and stuff and the way and you already said that eating breakfast is challenging. If you made your window of not eating in the morning or like from late night to the morning like I do, so I do a 16-hour, 8 or 9 depending on the day. Like some days I'm not able to eat eat my last meal until little before 8.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to have it like between that 8 and 9 hour.
Yeah.
When I do MMA and I'm there till 8:30, that's when I have to eat. I eat right after MMA where I take food or whatever. But then I don't have to worry about breakfast. I don't eat until 1 or 2, depending on where it was that it falls. But I don't eat until 1 or 2. So it's like a 16 to 17 hour window of fasting, followed by an 8-hour window where I can eat.
Yeah, eating. Yeah.
And I really like it. Like I think, like I said, I don't think it's for everyone, but I think you could benefit from. Where I don't like is where it goes into 24 or 30 hours. Like that's where I would say, no, the diet. The whole point isn't to not eat.
Yeah.
It's to cycle the eating to a smaller window, and have a bigger window to where your body is running more efficiently because it's not having to constantly be digesting stuff.
Yeah.
Which is where you see the benefit.
Yeah.
So
it was. I liked it when I was doing it, and I'm also not I don't know, man. I don't eat like my wife's doing her fitness competition. She eats like 6 times a day.
Yeah.
And just constantly eating little meals, and it's not really feasible for me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I eat lunch and dinner. I mean, is really it.
And that's another reason I think this diet would be, or
the intermittent fasting.
Yeah, intermittent fasting would be great for you. When I'm on it, so I'm on it. I've been on it for about a month and a half since getting back on it for the summer. I'm gonna probably be on it another month and a half. And I end up having usually 2 meals a day with a snack in between them.
Yeah.
So I'll have like my first meal around 1 or 2. And then I like because I can have the portions a little bit bigger. And then I have a snack before my late training, my MMA or my late clients. And then when I'm done with work, I'll have my dinner.
Yeah.
And then the cycle starts all over again. And where it's beneficial is usually between the 8 hours, the 8-hour window, you're not going to get as many calories. You're going to lower your caloric intake than if you were eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, a couple snacks. You're just going to naturally not be able to eat as much.
Yeah.
Because you're eating less meals and you're trying to eat more in that sitting. It's just not going to be as much. And you're also going to it's going to help kickstart the metabolism because you're not going to be wasting a lot of energy trying to your body, I'm talking about your body, isn't going to be using energy to digest around the clock. Digest breakfast, digest the lunch before, or the meal before, the snack before lunch, digest this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefits to it. Again, I would not put everybody on this. Same way I wouldn't put everybody on any specific diet. Like I have some fighters that want to do keto and I tell them that's the wrong thing for you, but it's not the wrong thing for somebody else. You know what I mean? It's all based on the person and working with you enough to know kind of your daily routine and your habits. Like I'm like, man, Jared, this would work for you if you wanted to do it. Just be smart about it. We can't go 24 hours without eating. That's not the and so that's not the point.
Yeah. I was just, when I was going through all that, I was reading in all the keto stuff or whatever, and they say, the whole idea of that is to switch over your body's energy source to ketones.
But you also don't want to do that. I mean, this is going off topic, but like if your body doesn't want to run off of that, like if it's not its primary source, why force it to do that? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Science and shit.
No, but don't force it to do that. But sciencey things.
Yeah.
Pretend I just said something smart.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that was pretty crazy, man. I did it for like 3 weeks in a row, and it was like I said, I didn't feel bad. I never got hungry. I just drank a shitload of water.
Yeah.
Every time I got hungry, I just would go drink water, and that's the other thing. I haven't been drinking enough water or as much water as I need to, just because I've been busy at work.
I'd say water is definitely something you need to. If you're not drinking enough and you're not drinking enough, we got to up that.
Yeah.
So that's going to really help you too.
I've been trying to consciously do that more. And I have a Yeti cup at work that I fill with ice and water as soon as I get there every day. And I drink it till it's gone. I go fill it up. I drink it till it's gone. I get about 3 of those cups a day. And then I have these big glasses here that when I come home, I fill it up and I drink. And so I try to drink one of those right before I go to bed. So I make a conscious effort to do it, but I'm not drinking enough. I was drinking more before. and I can just tell. I know that I'm not drinking enough water because I'm thirsty all the damn time. I can tell I'm dehydrated a little bit. So that's something I'm trying to work on. One thing I said I wanted to talk to you about, and you kind of scuffled at me, is rest and recovery. You said, "What's that? What's that? Lift more?"
Oh yeah. I said what? I said what is that, and how many sets of that do you do? Like, what is the
exactly?
What's the rep scheme on rest?
Yeah, exactly. So it hasn't been, like I said, it hasn't been a crazy thing. I'm not sore. I'm not whatever. I do want to try to cycle in some yoga at some point in my life.
Yeah.
Just to stretch things out, and you know, back gets a little stiff or whatever the case.
Yeah.
But are you big on sleep, like hours of sleep, or?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. So that's why I scoffed at you, or kind of like scoffed at the idea of talking about this, because I'm all for rest and recovery if done correctly, and knowing what you're trying to rest and what you're trying to recover, and the method you're choosing.
Okay.
And what I mean by this is, like, I used to be one of those people that believed like you needed this many hours of sleep, and I hear the argument where people are like, oh, well, I need this. And I'm not one where it's like, okay, I don't know you inside and out, and maybe you have something where you really do feel you need this many hours of sleep. But since my life getting busier and pushing harder and hearing other people's testimonies through podcasts and different things about how hard they're pushing their lifestyle and how little sleep they're getting, I've tried to push my lifestyle more to where I don't need as much sleep, and I've found that I don't need as much sleep as I thought I needed. I just need like the right kind of outlook for it and stuff like that, and the right ways of thinking, and then make sure everything else is on point, the way I'm eating, the way I'm working out, all that's going to help give me energy. But the one thing I found that I don't need as much as I thought I did is sleep.
So how many hours of sleep do you get tonight?
I'll probably let's see, get in bed around 10:30, don't fall asleep till 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep on a good night.
See, that's about where I'm at, but I want to get more.
Yeah.
That's about where I'm at. And so the way I've kind of been doing is I'll go 5 or 6 hours of sleep during the week, and on the weekends I'll have to go ahead and sleep on in until 8 or 9 or so, or whatever, and get that full, 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep. But I don't know. I don't know that it helps or hurts. What about ice baths or soaking in hot water?
Yeah.
Or
so I'll get to those because I love those.
Okay.
But first I want to go ahead and make clear on the sleeping thing. I'm not a sleep expert. I'm literally telling you what I know from me.
Yeah.
And from like stuff that I've heard other people say about sleep, and then me kind of playing around with that.
Do you take naps?
That's where I say no, and I used to.
Yeah.
But I've decided, and what it is I listen to the crazy people. I listen to crazy people talk. I have listened to the podcast with David Goggins probably 12 times.
Yeah.
And so what's crazy is I'll lay down and take a nap for I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna get a 30-minute nap right now, and then I'll like hear his podcast in my head and be like, this dude is super intense. I bet this dude doesn't take these naps. I bet he's up busting his ass. He's being productive. So then I get my ass up and I be productive. And then by the time it's at night, I'm not even it didn't even bother me that I missed that sleep. I'm only tired and this is another thing I've found, I'm only tired when I stop doing things. If I'm going all day long, I don't even think about how tired I am.
Yeah.
But the moment I decide to sit and okay, I'm gonna watch this one show before I get back up and go back to work. No, that's when I get sleepy. If I go out, like I said, especially now that it's easy because I got that, all the animals now and the little farm going.
Stay busy.
So when I stay busy, I honestly don't even feel tired. It's the moment I try to just sit and do nothing where that's when it's kicking in.
Yeah. I found that when I don't get hungry when I'm doing things.
Yeah.
Like we used to play a shitload of volleyball 10, 12 hours a day, like sun up till sundown, and then turn the lights on at night. And I wouldn't eat all day. It just because I'm running around, I'm doing shit, jumping around, sweating, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat.
Well, that's why I think another reason, to be honest with you, why I think intermittent fasting will work for you.
Yeah.
You seem very busy in the morning. Like, you can go into work and be busy and do stuff and not even think about being hungry.
Well,
I'm the
that's
same
thing.
way
I
with my
never
morning
ate-
clients.
I never ate breakfast my whole life. I've never been
Yeah.
a big breakfast person. I wake up in the morning, like even when I was a kid growing up, Mom would, we want cereal. And I'm like, no, I'm not hungry. I just never ate. It wouldn't, I don't know. And everybody's told me my whole life that I need to get better. I just realized all my arm hairs are singed from the heat of the fire.
That thing was impressive. The green golf egg.
The big green golf egg. Yeah, man, it's been, I don't know. Breakfast is always most important meal of the day, but it's never been.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
you said something. I mean, you just now said a quote that it's been around for so long that people just think it's true.
Yeah.
Same thing with the sleep. I mean, it's person to person.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people that honestly believes you function better when you sleep more or when you eat breakfast and it works for you, keep doing that. But if you're somebody who can get away with doing these other things, you know what I mean? Like, it's all person to person. And yeah, that may seem like the easy answer, but it's the truth. It's the truthful answer.
Yeah.
It's almost like a placebo effect. If I feel like I'm more productive overall whenever I don't take naps and I only get my 5 hours of sleep and I just keep working because I don't need the sleep, or I don't need to eat the breakfast because I'm doing intermittent fasting, and all these are working to make me more efficient and productive as a person, then I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who's big on naps? Or not naps, but on sleeping?
Who?
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash? You talking about the
basketball player.
Okay, I don't know if you meant the wrestler. Oh, that's Kevin Nash. Is that Kevin Nash? I get him mixed up.
I don't know.
Steve Nash
Steve
likes
Nash
his naps.
is definitely a basketball player. He was a little
Steve Nash likes his naps. Yeah, okay, I know you're talking about the shorter
little white
one.
guy
Yeah,
from Canada. He was on the Suns.
Yeah.
He's very good. He was a soccer player, too.
I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
He's a fan of naps.
I want to say that dude sleeps like 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like when he was in the middle of his NBA career, somebody talked about, because his longevity, right? Because he was getting up there in age and he was still able to play they play 80 games and all these minutes.
I do remember, because I know who you're talking about now, and I do remember him playing for like ever.
Yeah, and that was a question that somebody asked me. He said, my biggest thing I do is sleep. And I think he said he sleeps like 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And good on him. He said that's the recovery that I needed. And a lot of them guys sleep in those hyperbaric chambers and all that shit too. So high altitude. They sleep in high altitude, train in low altitude.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that little chamber you're talking about.
Yeah.
But then they have like, I know this wasn't an athlete, but just talk about brain function alone. Look at somebody like Albert Einstein, who only slept. He took, I forget the name, and I looked into doing this earlier, and this just shows like it doesn't work for you, doesn't work for you. But that's sleeping where you only get like 4 20-minute naps
a day.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of sleep.
No. He would sleep, I think, so he would do, this is what it was. He would sleep for 2 hours straight, and then he would take 4 20-minute naps throughout the day. And that was all he needed. And it was something about like, only your initial sleep puts you in the best REM, the best REM cycle.
Yeah.
And so that's why like napping for 20 minutes is better than like napping an hour. If you nap for like an hour, you wake up kind of groggy.
Yeah.
Whereas if you went to sleep for like 15 minutes, you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm good, I'm alert. And they says because you get your best REM with the short, the at the beginning of your sleep. And he did it, and he's one of the best brains in the world. But there was a lot of them, and there was a lot of the more like thinker type people in the world that did the thinkerness.
Thinker types.
Yeah, the big brains on Brad and all of them, but that slept like that, and I forget what they call it, but and I looked into doing it, and where my wife Brandy, she was like, "You're gonna do that also while you're doing intermittent fasting?" I'm like, "I don't know, I'll try it." And I think I was about to try it, then I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna do this. This is too much for me." But yeah, it just shows if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not saying Einstein could have played in the NBA. Maybe you do need 12 hours for that. But
yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. On the reason why I bring up sleep on the Rogan podcast the other day, I don't remember the guy's name, but he had a guy on there who was a sleep expert.
Okay, see, that's who you should be talking. Why are you asking me these questions?
Well,
Talk to that guy.
Because you're the guy, you know.
What did he say though?
So he said the average person, right? He's kind of like the same thing, you know. There is a gene. He said there is a gene that certain people have, but it's something like 5% of the population that they could function on like 4 to 5 hours of sleep and be fine. And he said that he gets people all the time, well, I think I'm that gene and this and that or whatever. And he's like, oh, the odds are probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But he said the average person needs 8 hours of sleep a day. And he went into REM sleep. He went into kind of everything. He went into all the things on how to fall asleep better. You know, where darkness deficient society. We don't have enough dark. There's things that when your environment around you gets dark that releases melatonin in your brain, which is what activates sleep and this and that. That when it's not dark, those hormones never release, and so you never get sleep. That's why people sit up on their phones and just. Well, you got a huge light shining in your face all the time.
In your face. I agree with that.
Your brain's still thinking it's sunlight, right?
Yeah, I do agree with that.
So anyway, he talked a lot about that, things to do to help. One thing he said that was really interesting that I never heard before, that your core body temperature in your brain needs to drop 2 degrees in order to get into that REM sleep, into that good deep sleep, right? And he said so like 68 degrees is like the perfect temperature to do that or whatever, and he said the best way to do it is like take a hot bath and then get out and the heat just exudes out of your body and this and that, and then cool yourself off and you'll fall right to sleep, according with other things. But that was really interesting that I never heard, that your core body temperature actually drops. That's why it's important for your feet to be warm, your hands to be warm, so that blood can leave out of the core of your body and go travel to your feet and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool stuff.
So the other thing he said, what were we talking about before?
Sleep.
Yeah, a lot about sleep.
You mentioned ice baths.
Oh, no. You're talking about Einstein being like this dude that didn't get a lot of sleep. He talked about Thomas Edison.
He's another one of those thinker types.
One of them thinkermans would take large ball bearings and like a 3-pound ball bearing or 2-pound ball bearing or something. Maybe not that heavy, I don't know. But it would hold him in his hand, and he would sit back and he would take a nap. And then as he would fall asleep and his hand would relax, the ball bearing would drop, and boom, it hit the ground and wake him up. And he would write whatever he was thinking. And that's how he came up with the filament to go inside the fucking light bulbs while he was doing one of those sleep cycles. Yeah.
That's crazy. And that's awesome.
So he talked a lot about the mental creativity juice flowing or whatever while you're in those dream states. REM sleep.
Yeah, I think everyone can think about that and how they've been there, like where you're kind of delirious.
Yes.
And you're just like in this state where your brain's working, but you're not really controlling it.
Correct.
It's just going. Like I know exactly the state you're talking about. Like, so I couldn't try to be there, but as I'm trying to fall asleep, I just end up there. Yeah.
He said
that's
that,
cool.
and that maybe he didn't say anything about Einstein, but he said he was talking about Thomas Edison. That did that. Hold the ball bearing. Yeah. His muscles would relax. The bearing would drop.
That's awesome.
Wake him up, and then he would go back to work. Like
that is
do
awesome.
whatever.
I kind of want to see the ones that didn't become anything big and just try to see what he was going for with those. You know what I mean?
Oh, all of his inventions?
All the ideas. All the ideas that he wrote down. Because you know there was one good one for every 15 bad ones. There had to be.
Well,
if you're doing that,
you know his quote about the light bulb.
Huh.
It's something along the lines of, he goes, I didn't fail 10,000 times at the light bulb. I just figured out 10,000 ways that didn't work. Something like that. It was something like maybe 1,000 or something like that.
Like a unique way of thinking. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like this. So that's
awesome.
But then you go back into the history books and you look, and he stole the patent from Tesla. So.
Yeah, where was the quote on that? Where I stole this pile.
No, baby, we don't want to talk about that. But Thomas Edison, not the inventor of the light bulb. Yeah. But oh well, we'll let him have it, as history says.
Yeah.
The victors write the history books.
But you were asking about ice baths.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't do them.
Yeah, most people don't. That should.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a big fan of them. And we're getting a tub at Press Forward, so
Golly, it's gonna be
we're not gonna make anybody do them, but
No.
they're gonna be highly suggested. Especially, so what I'm gonna do is if people start bitching and moaning about certain ailments, where a ice bath I think will help.
Get
You
your
know,
ass
it's not
an
a
ice
cure-all, but if it'll help, you're not allowed to bitch about it if you don't get in an ice bath.
Yeah.
You can complain to me all you want if you get in that ice bath and it still doesn't work or you're still feeling it. But if I can't offer you a solution and you not take it and then you still complain about the problem, that's what gets me. Is like there's so many people like that I work with that are like, oh, this hurts and this is achy or this I have this, and I'm like, an ice bath will help. Oh, there's no way I'm gonna get in an ice bath. I'm like,
Yeah.
well then you don't get to complain to me.
Yeah, no, ice baths are rough, man. I did them for football. I ice my knee down on occasion when it starts to tweak or hurt, but it hasn't been the only things that screwed my knee up since when we did a little sparring or whatever, and I kick it.
Yeah.
When I kick it, like hyperextends a little bit, and it gets a little swollen, a little tender to the touch. But all the stuff we've been doing,
Yeah.
nothing there. I ice down my foot when I kick myself in the top of my foot with my cowboy boots because
Oh yeah.
that was dumb.
I want to get you.
Yeah, and that's feeling real good too, by the way.
Yeah.
That was rough, dude. For like, there was about a 2-week span where it hurt to walk.
And then I was the jerk that tried to make you do burpees.
Yeah,
Mm.
I was like, did like
'Cause I
3 of them.
forgot,
I'm like, no, but I don't
Forgot.
think I'll do it, bud.
I'm like, just go, man. You got to remind me about those things. Yeah.
So what's been good? What's been bad, man? Tell me. I know the last 2 weeks has been bad. I've only been there, I think, twice. Both.
Yeah, you know,
Both
I'm
weeks,
a big
you know.
believer in consistency
Yeah.
because, like I said, everything we're trying to make it habitual. So if we can create good lifestyle habits and stuff like that, I've actually been very impressed with the way you've been modifying your meals. Where, like you say, you go in and they'll have like breakfast tacos, and you'll just take off the tortilla knowing that you're still getting eggs, meat, salsa, which is, just peppers and tomatoes and stuff like that. And you make it as clean as you can.
Yeah.
Which is excellent because we talked about that. Those are the modifications. That's the way you do things, and that's perfect. Consistency. We gotta get a little more consistent. Are you liking the high volume? I know we're doing like 5 sets of 20 so we can get 100 reps of push-ups or bench or rows, and it seems like a lot because it is a lot.
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's that heart rate thing, man. It's blood's pumping, heart rate's going, fatigue's there. You just push through it, all that stuff. But yeah, all that's been fine. The other thing, technique's getting better as the strength comes back. Right, I'm able to hold things on form for longer and all that stuff. So that's good.
If you could do, I think one thing that would really help, and this might just be more of a time issue than anything, but if you could do like 1 or 2 MMA sessions a week,
Yeah.
to get that extra cardio. I was thinking about that today, actually. I was thinking about some changes I'd like to make to your program to really kick it in. One thing is I wanted to talk to you about the intermittent fasting, but then, so that's on the nutrition side. But then the other side, for the actual training, I was saying more cardio, but running is boring.
Yeah.
I don't like to run. I make myself do it, but I don't like it. Now, and if it's the same for you, I know you enjoy MMA, and it's very taxing cardio-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember you came back from that sparring and you hadn't sparred in a while, and you came in. That was the one thing that was getting you, and it's just because you hadn't done it in a while and stuff like that. But it's very taxing on. And I think if you could implement 1 or 2 days of that, plus be consistent coming in, like, I think you'd be good there. I know it's hard to do with it's hard to do both, and then run and still have a job and your family and all that stuff. I'd even be okay with taking one of the days, like if we were just getting one in, like on a Thursday where we do sparring, so you're going to be pushed by a partner.
Yeah.
To say, hey, instead of Thursday coming in at the 4 or 5 o'clock, come in at the 7 and do that for your workout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want some way to implement more cardio for you.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah. However you want to do it. If you even said like, no, I'm okay with the running here at the house, neighborhood or whatever, all I'm saying is if we could up the cardio a bit,
Yeah.
I'd like to see that for the next month.
Well, I need to get some sparring in anyways.
Oh yeah, are you still gonna be jumping in the smoker? Then absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I need
No
to
question.
get the sparring in anyways.
Thursday meet needs to be a day you can get up there if possible.
Must, yeah. So this Thursday should be a green light because the boy's not his baseball games on Friday. They have star testing on Thursday, so there's no game on Friday, or no game on Thursday. So this Thursday should be green light. It's really, man, that's the tough thing is it's kind of week by week. My next month and a half is stupid on the weekends.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It shouldn't mess with us at all. But I have like literally from now until July 13th, I have something every weekend slotted, and so it's gonna be pretty crazy. But yeah, man, I wanted to do that. I talked to you about that before. I talked to the wife about it a couple weeks ago. Is that this month of May I want to stay and do some of those MMA classes, especially the sparring days. And then we can try and work in another day. We'll have to figure out maybe Tuesday and Thursday or whatever we stay and do the MMA class. Tuesday's jiu-jitsu, right?
Yes, Tuesday jiu-jitsu, rolling.
Yeah.
You like that stuff?
I do.
Yeah.
I do like rolling.
Now we're getting some other big boys in there.
Yeah, Alex.
Big Alex.
Dude
is a beast.
I know. I tried to hold one of his arms down one time to get a Kimura, and he threw me off.
His arms are the size of my legs, bro.
Yeah, he's a monster. Pure monster. And he's working in there some sparring.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
so that'll
that,
be fun.
man.
Now that we got some guys for you to go with.
Yeah.
I love sparring with you, working with you.
Yeah. Dom tunes me up plenty.
I try. I get my 5 little rink-a-dink shots to every one giant power shot you got.
That's what I told Jason, man. You hit me 5-10 times, whatever. I gotta make my one count.
Yeah.
No, man, it's been good. I want to thank you. It's been, like I said, going into this thing, you feel like you know how to work out. You feel like you know, whatever. I've worked out a lot in sports and stuff all the way through.
Yeah.
And we don't do anything that I ever did then, which is a good thing. It's a lot more involved. It's a lot more. I like the variety. We're always doing something kind of different every day.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. And a lot of people don't. I know if I go to a lot of gyms, they're not going to be the same mindset in it. You know, it's to each their own. But I know a lot of people believe in progression, and that is important. But I always think as long as you have ways to measure as you're going, you can change up the progression. Like, I was never one where it's like, okay, this month we're going to do 5x5s. We're always going to do 5 every week. Every Monday, you know, for chest, it's going to be 5x5.
Yeah.
And then next Monday, it'll be chest 5x5. You know, it's the same. I want it to be different each time I come in. And then barring there'll be some stuff like the Sediv set will repeat on occasion because it's a great way to measure, okay, I hit heavier weight than last time for more reps than last time. There, I'm improving. Yes. I was able to measure, so now I can manage my workout without it being the same thing every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, dude, as far as seeing progression like you're talking, for someone like me who hasn't done any kind of strength conditioning for a couple of years, I mean, to be honest, I did the MMA stuff last year and got pretty good into that and got into pretty decent shape. But as far as lifting and doing sprints and stuff like that, I hadn't messed around with any of that stuff for a long time. It's inevitable to see that progression and getting better. Like just being around the house, just doing things. You're just easier. It's that functional strength is part of all that. And every day I go in there, I'm able to run a little bit more. I'm able to push-ups are a little easier.
Yeah.
You know, all that's just getting better and better and better. Like I said, it's been really good. I've had really happy with how it's all going, and I'm like, I want to go the next year and the next 2 years and just keep pushing and grinding and going and just
And that's the best thing, like for me to hear, because like I said, now we're doing exactly what I wanted to do. Because when you had me on the first time, I remember you were asking me like, okay, how do we get this goal and this goal and this goal, and I'm thinking, okay, my goal for you is to make habits. You know, like, yeah, we got these check marks we want to try to get to, and that's great and that's awesome because that's going to be your motivation. But what I want for you is to say, this is just who I am now. I'm a guy who lifts. I'm a guy who eats clean because you understand that it's better for your body, which is going to allow you to be a better husband, a better father, a better worker. You know what I mean? You get all this stuff because,
Absolutely.
And, but
it's been I think just in this, since I've been doing it, it's changed in the sense that I still have those goals intermittently, like they're immediate goals that I'm trying to hit.
Yeah.
But I'm also have that mindset that if I keep doing this, if I keep lifting how we're lifting, I keep working out how we're working out that hour a day, that there's going to be no choice but to get better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my body will have no choice but to get to where it wants to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the idea, right? So you just got to keep showing up and doing it. It's kind of my mindset that I'm at now. And then the eating clean and all that stuff will just do nothing but help that, boogie on along. So it's been great, man. Like I said, I want to thank you having a little patience with me. I know I don't know. I never get upset with you. You come up to me a couple times. You're like, "Don't get mad at me." This and that. I'm like, "I'm not mad at you. I get mad at myself."
It's just funny because you're a very easy person to talk to, and because you're also a very good talker. Like you enjoy talking and telling stories and joking around, and but sometimes when I'm pushing you and training you get like super quiet and intense, and like even to where I'm like, "You good, Jared?" And you're like, you don't even say anything, you just kind of like nod at me, and I'm like, okay, he's either extremely exhausted or he's a little pissed off. maybe both, most likely. Well, but I always go, "Hey, don't be mad, bro, we getting better."
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'm not mad at you. I get mad at myself, man.
Well, also I've seen I felt how hard you can hit, so I don't want you to just lose your temper with me and just start throwing. So I gotta calm down the bear.
No, we're good, man. It's like I said, I get mad at myself that like I get to a point and I know I should be able to do this better, and it's frustrating for me being at that point. It's like I get frustrated.
Well, on that note, because this is something I'm always telling beginners, not to say you're a beginner, but like it's that same mindset of like I get people that get so frustrated with where they've been before, or just where they're not. Like they always think about like, "Oh, I'm not here. I'm not at this point. I'm still hitting this weight and I'm tired and this." And I always say, I said, "So you're tired?" And they're like, "Yes, like this was very hard." I said, "So it was really, really tough?" They're like, "Yes, it was really hard." I said, "Did you complete it?" "Yes." "So you took on a challenge that was really really hard, really tough, and you completed it?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You won.
Yeah.
You beat the workout." And so like to me, and this is where it comes in with mindset, to me when a workout is tough and it's kicking my ass, I smile more because I'm doing it. Like especially when I get done with it, like that pull-up challenge and stuff like that, I'm super pumped no matter where I finished on these things. Like a hurricane, like it doesn't matter if you come in at the 15-minute mark where we're trying, or if you double that and hit 30. I always ask that person, "Did you finish? Did you quit halfway through, or did you finish?"
Yeah.
And they're always like, "I finished." I'm like, you won. You won. You beat it.
Yeah, man, that's a good mindset. And it's that frustration that I have is not I don't know, it's hard. It's more of a motivation thing, right?
Yeah.
I know where I want to be, I know where I can be, and I'm frustrated that I'm struggling where I'm at now. Yeah. It's just more of like, I'm mad at myself for what I've done the last 5 years.
And that's the athlete in you too, is like knowing like I'm better than this, and you can feed off of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I say. It's a motivation thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just like I don't know. We'll be all right. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But it's been good, man. It's exciting. Podcast weight loss edition number 2.
So you need to do your check-in, where you started, where we're at now, and where we're going. So we're trying to get under 3, right?
Trying to get under 3.
And we started at what?
We were at 350 when we started. We're at 330 now.
Oh, we're looking good.
We're 6 months out, or 6 weeks out to June 14th, which is my
Mhm.
birthday, which is kind of where we set the goal.
I'm
So,
thinking if you hit,
I gotta
it's your
go.
call,
I gotta
but-
be 5 pounds a week
Yeah.
to get there. So we gotta do. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to step up the nutrition game.
Yeah.
A little
I think you
bit.
should really give it a shot from
Intermittent
here.
fasting.
I think you should try it from here till that goal marker,
Mhm.
and then see what your body tells you. See what it felt like to do that. And you've said you've done it before or something similar.
What's that?
Intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
So do it
Yeah,
again
no, I felt
with
good
what
when
we're
I was
doing
doing
now.
it,
Do it
yeah.
again with what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Be more strict about not letting the 24 hours pass. It's got to be a 16-hour window and an
Yeah.
8-hour. Or I'd prefer you do a 16-hour window of fasting and an 8-hour window of eating.
Okay.
Like I said, I do mine from 8 p.m. is my last 8 or 9 p.m. depending on your schedule
Mhm.
is your last meal, and then 1 or 2 you get to start eating again.
Yeah.
So,
And that'll work out good, man. Because I wake up, I go to work. Lunch is right around 11:30.
mhm.
Do we have a mockingbird war going on in the backyard right now?
Yeah.
They are fighting to the death.
Yeah. It's actually
if any of y'all hearing all that caulking in the background,
yeah.
that's mockingbirds going at it. But anyways, yeah, man, that'll work out good, and we'll give that a try. And the 5 pounds a week is doable, because that's what I did before. That's basically where I was losing like 5 to 8 pounds a week, last January, February. But the other thing is I'm also putting on, I'm putting on adding muscle,
Yeah.
whereas last year I wasn't really.
Mhm.
I was kind of using my muscles more, but I wasn't building any muscles. Anything. I wasn't lifting or
Yeah.
pushing or whatever. That was just the cardio last year. So
Yeah, and I always say based on that or on that topic, and this is good for anybody listening who worries about the scale. As a trainer, I know me and a lot of people with my same philosophy on fitness. The scale is going to be one of your last things to look at. Like, it's a great way to mark something, I guess, if you're saying like, oh, I'm big and I want to be smaller. It's a good tool for that. But really look at the way. First thing that changes is the way you feel.
Yeah.
Like you said, you feel stronger, you feel better. That's the number one thing. Is how do you feel? That's gonna tell you first. Your body's gonna tell you first if you're getting better or worse. After the how you feel is the way your clothes fit. If they fit a little bit looser or a little bit tighter, depending if you're trying to gain weight, because I'm talking about for all fitness goals.
Yeah.
But depending on how your clothes fit to what you're trying to achieve, that's going to be the next thing. And then it's usually the scale. And so I bring up that because, like you were talking about, like you're gaining muscle. So you're not going to just see the scale just drop,
Yeah.
because you're also putting on more muscles. Like you're cranking out a lot more push-ups now than you used to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get in
Yeah.
there sometimes, and the way I plan it out, by the end of the workout, you've hit, on top of everything else you've done, you've also done 100 push-ups that hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're doing a little bit different than where I was last year, but we can get there, man. It's still I don't look at that the next 30 pounds that we need to lose as by that June 14th date.
Mhm.
I don't look at that as an unachievable thing. I think we can get there.
Yeah.
So we'll get on it hot and heavy. I don't have anything crazy coming up next. We got some crawfish bowls. I got a cook off or some cooking coming up and stuff like that I'm doing. But as far as and also I may be going to a brewery at the end of the month, so I may have to have some beer with those guys.
That may get you a little bit.
yeah. I may have to have some beer with those guys.
Sorry,
but
remember, rule number 1, don't be weird.
yeah, that's it, man. That's it. That's been a good little rule to live by.
It creates more of a lifestyle habit. Like
That's kind of where I'm
than
at,
it just
man.
being
I'm not upset. It's not a bad thing that I haven't been losing the 5 to 8 pounds a week that I was last year, because I'm living a lot better. Like, I'm able to go have a beer. I had that pulled pork sandwich up in Austin and stuff like that, and I still drop weight.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. I'm happy with that. Anything else on the fitness side of things?
I don't think we're good. Like
All right, let's
You
get
good?
serious.
all right.
Infinity War.
Infinity War. Infinity War. Saw it this week.
You were hitting me up earlier about it. So tell me what's good about the Marvel universe that I need to dive into.
You don't watch?
So I watched like the first couple Iron Man's. Great. I've yet to see a Hulk movie that's any good.
Yeah. So there's
The Guardians of the Galaxy are great.
So you admit they're good movies. They're great movies, yeah?
I didn't like any of the Captain Americas.
You don't like any? You didn't like Winter Soldier?
No.
And see,
sorry.
I think you go in knowing you're not going to like, or like in your mindset, you're like, I'm not going to like these. I don't want to like these. And so then you don't like them.
No, because I did like them. I was in all those movies and then they just kept pumping them out, regurgitating garbage.
I can see that. But the whole point of that was, I think, in my opinion, to get the Marvel Universe big enough to where when they go fight Thanos in the Infinity Wars, which just started, which is, if you follow the comics, it's one of the biggest storylines in comic books. He's like one of the main, enemies to these guys. And with the Marvel Universe being this big, not to give any spoilers, because I won't give any spoilers, but they get their ass kicked. So, because you're thinking, oh, all these superheroes, coming together, all of them?
Yeah.
Oh, they'll whoop whoever's got. No, bro, it doesn't go like that. Like, you recognize that the power of Thanos, and I think that's what they were trying to get at. That plus making money from making all these different superhero movies, probably that too.
Yeah. Who are the other guys?
You want me to name superhero movies?
Yeah.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was good. I like Paul Rudd.
And then you got to think of all the characters that are like side characters in these other movies, like the Black Widow, Falcon, and all these that are.
What is that girl with big boobs?
Hawkeye. Oh, you're talking about.
What's her name?
Yeah, you're talking about. You're talking about the Black Widow.
Is that her name?
Scarlett
Johansson. Yes.
Scarlett.
Does she have her own movie?
No,
See,
she's a side character.
That's where they're fucking up.
They're saying it, but for a different reason. They're saying it because she actually has a very good background, like story to tell. Okay. And I think you're saying it because she's hot with big boobs.
Yes.
Okay.
Like put that woman up on screen for 2.5 hours.
The world is agreeing with
naked.
you, but for two different reasons.
Yeah. Like I would go. That's a movie I'd go see now.
Yeah.
Scarlett Jo running around in tights for 2.5 hours. No, man. I think whatever. They're okay.
I'm also a fan of. You haven't seen my man cave, huh?
I have not.
So I have a bunch of art in there, but I like mashups. So I like when they take two different shows or two different things and put them in the same art. Like I have a standoff with Deadpool and Boba Fett, like drawn on each other.
Are they Marvel people?
No, like you know who Boba Fett is from Star Wars, the bounty hunter. Don't tell me you don't watch Star Wars, bro. No, you don't. You're just saying it like.
I didn't know his name.
You're saying it like I don't. Okay.
Well, is Deadpool in Marvel?
No, yeah, Deadpool's Marvel.
That's what I was asking.
So it's Deadpool
like
superhero versus Star Wars, like the art that I have at the house or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Or I have like Boba Fett holding. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so a lot of Star Wars stuff. But I have Boba Fett holding the head of Predator in the jungle, and so like it's a mashup because it's two different universes.
That's pretty cool.
But so I'm into that. So I think the movies play on that for me, where like the last Thor movie came out, it might as well have been called Thor and Hulk movie because they were together in that like a mashup kind of thing. So I like the comic books here or the superhero movies because they'll put multiple superheroes in one movie.
That's another one I didn't like, the Thors.
Thors, yeah. That I didn't like the standalone movies, I'll be honest.
Chris Hemsworth is pretty handsome.
He is. He's a good-looking cat.
I liked him in Road Trip. Did you ever watch that movie?
Yes, but now I'm trying to think where he's in that.
Is it called Road Trip? No, it's Vacation. It's the one where they're like National Lampoon's Vacation. It's supposed to be
the remake.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's got the big old hammer on him.
Yeah.
He's like the Texas Ranch hand with a 13-inch long wiener.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. He's like, can you believe that guy? Walking in here with his shirt off. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm not a big fan. Ben Affleck.
To each their own. I'm a bit of a nerd all around, anyways. So
like I said, I like when Iron Man came out like 2008, the first one. I was like, dude, this shit's badass. Yeah. When they were coming out with, I know it's different DC, but the Batman, the Dark Knight series, and all that stuff. Those are all great. But it's when it's every time I turn around the next 6 months, there's another fucking some kind of Marvel movie coming out that has all these people, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of done over this.
They're fixing that now.
Spoiler.
I tried my best, y'all.
Yeah. Oh well. What else, man? You ready to get out of here? You got some animals to go
Bro, I
take
got
care
the
of?
farm now, bro. I gotta go check on all the animals.
I know you gotta.
In
mow
one
them.
weekend, I picked up 8 chickens, a donkey, and a horse, and now I don't know what to do. No, I love it though. I really do.
Yeah,
It's
looks
fun, man.
looks like a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
Looks like a lot of fun. Well, thank you again, bud. We'll
Yeah.
we'll get back on here in a month or so and see where we're at. Everything's going good. Tell the folks where they can come see you at, come get a workout in.
Yeah, I work at a Peak Performance warehouse off of 518 in Friendswood. You can check me out on Facebook, Dominick Castillo, or Instagram, Domcast_iron.
And boom, we are wrapping it up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for listening in. Lone Star Podcast on Facebook, at the Lone Star Podcast on Instagram. We're on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher. I know y'all are all listening. If you're listening to this, then obviously you found us. But thanks for y'all for listening.